Hey everyone, welcome to something new and hopefully a little bit interesting. So if you didn't catch my last project update about the pseudo data pack I was working on, I have unfortunately come to the decision that I need to scrap that and it's not worth continuing. There's a few reasons for that, and before we actually get into what I want to do today, we'll just quickly discuss why that is. So for starters, we're on to Minecraft 1.20. Now, well, 1.20, probably the next month or so is when we'll actually see the full release, but I generally play on snapshots. And with 1.20, I know a lot of you probably think of like the cherry blossom biomes or the new armor trims, all the different survival features that they have added. But in actuality, both 1.19.4 and 1.20 are creative updates. Mojang has added a whole lot of features to the back end of Minecraft, especially Java Edition in this case, to sort of advance data pack creation and people's ability to be creative with Minecraft as a sandbox, not really game, but a sandbox project, if you will. So rather than, modding, coding, having some level of computer engineering, understanding of software design, there is now a lot more accessible but highly customizable features you can make use of for Minecraft. And these features make a lot of everything I'd previously worked on rudimentary by nature. So yes, the ideas might be cool, but the way I actually went about it, it's not really going to stand the test of time, nor is it to the high standard I would like to obviously present. The other side of the coin is my own understanding of commands has advanced considerably. I started playing Minecraft again last year, and with it I've started learning commands and everything I can do with commands, and I've come leaps and bounds, if you will, from the initial iteration of the project. So what I've been up to for the past few months in regards to the project, I have been painfully and slowly converting what was a survival world or an adventure world into a data pack. And command blocks don't just translate one for one to a data pack. You can't just copy and paste all the commands and have it function correctly. That is simply because data packs run off of a tick cycle, if you will. So there is a chain or a sequence of events, whereas a data pack runs only in a burst, and there's a whole other array of small details that sort of make it a bit more complicated than, again, just copy and pasting. So a lot of the things that I was working on, I had to edit them, I had to proofread them, I had to fix them so that they would work. And it has all just taken a toll. Not only has it burnt me out from Minecraft, because I don't want to spend another few months copy and pasting just to be able to release that map. So instead, I've come to the decision that the best thing to do is to indeed start again. If I start again, I can make use of everything I've learned. I could probably complete the map too in a far quicker time than just converting everything I had previously built. Now I'm saying that when I say I'm going to scrap the project, I literally just mean I'm scrapping all the commands, all the writings, all the data packs I have made up until this point, but I am going to latch onto the ideas. So I like the ideas I've come up with, a lot of those ideas are features I want to play with, so now I'm just going to make them better. I'm going to write them out again, using my better understanding of both data packs and commands to hopefully make it more functional and more accessible to everyone. Okay, that aside, why don't we jump into what we're doing today? So we're going to obviously start making the data pack. We will just make a creative world so we can test things, but from here on out, it will just be entirely a data pack. Therefore, it's applicable to any world. You want to play on Amplified, you can play on Amplified. The other thing I should mention, once I get to a point where there's enough features to make it playable, I do want to release it and then continue working on it, rather than, postponing it till I've fully completed the project. I'd rather get out there for community feedback and some sense of guidance from anyone who is interested in playing with it. What they want to see, what needs to be fixed, all that good stuff, all the creative input that really helps game design, flesh out. So we'll start our creative world, and then we'll go ahead, probably quit out and open up the world folder. I have done some of the baseline elements, and we'll just probably spend today going over what I've actually set up as the foundational work, if you will, for this starter pack. Yeah, this is a decent enough spawn. I also do want to make a little bulletin board where I can sort of have a roadmap of what exactly I do want to do, and that way you guys can have a proper sense of a timeline for this data pack. Because again, I will just say, sorry, because I know a lot of my channel has obviously been built on everything I've shown off with the previous data pack, the previous map, whatever you want to call it, that I am now saying is not on offer. So I do apologize for that. It has become a huge train wreck. I mean, 3 months ago or so, I had a working adventure map that I could play at least. Granted, the tick lag, so everything on the right-hand side there was a bit high, so that would cause errors with block updates and breaking stuff or interacting with entities, so that needed to be fixed. And I embarked on the long, arduous process of converting it to a data pack to fix those issues, and that just raised more concerns, more issues. So again, I'm sorry, I'm almost as disappointed as some of you, I would assume. And yeah, I mean, the whole point of this was to make something I could play, and to not only have a map that I could have started playing, 3 months ago, but now to completely throw it out. It is a bit disheartening, but I do honestly think it is for the best. Alright, so I'm going to set up the startings of the data pack. We might as well just do it together, right? Right, so starting off here, we've got the save file, so we just used open world. Now, I'm obviously in not full screen. Why'd they have to get rid of windowed mode, really? And yeah, we'll start working on the data pack, and we'll sort of go through everything I have set up. So I just got to find the workings. There we are, perfect. We go ahead, drag this in, and this is all the groundwork, if you will, for the data pack. So I've got the pack.mc meta, and then the data, which is then split into Minecraft and Runechant. Minecraft is where I put a lot of the back-end systems, if you will, to make the data pack function more effectively. So things that generate, say, RNG, or any of my timer systems or mechanisms that generally use the scoreboard, I stick in here, simply because then I can attach them to tags, functions, tick, and load. So load runs as soon as the data pack is loaded, and then tick runs every tick of Minecraft. The other really exciting thing, though, I can now use everything that a data pack has to offer. Okay, so I want to make use of damage types, advancements, functions, loot tables. I don't actually know what predicates are. I'll look into that. Recipes, structures. Recipes, maybe not. I'm a big fan of drop crafting and multi-block structures, so I don't know if I will use recipes per se, but everything else I do want to make useful, and I have already made useful tags. So I've gone ahead and made a whole bunch of groupings for tags. This essentially allows me to select any entities I want if they are part of these tags. So for instance, if I look at mobs, I have created a whitelist of every single mob in the game. In previous iterations, where I was working with command blocks, I had a Word document with all my whitelist, blacklist, so anytime I use the exclamation mark to exclude, anytime I don't, and boy oh boy was that a headache. So the simple fact that now I can just type in type equals mobs, or runechant ... mobs, is fantastic. So there's so much that I can now work with a lot better because I am starting from scratch. Okay? It's going to go a lot smoother, so I hope that warrants this to be a decent decision for me to make. And again, I will just apologize because I've been promising to release my work, and now I don't know if I will. I'm still undecided. I don't want to put something out there that is not great, and trust me, it's not good. The ideas, again, sure, they're cool ideas, but I didn't know what I was doing. I started from scratch. And now I'm very confident that what I can make is going to be significantly better. And that's the best thing to do, is understand your failings and correct and do better. Okay, so why don't we hop back into the world now that I have loaded that up, and we can go through some of the systems I have built in. So if we go to functions, we can now see there's a few loaded. Load, tick, load scoreboards. Template is just a basic one that I use to recreate, just so I have a document with the .mc function, rather than just creating a new text document every time. So that's blank, but then we also have these important ones. So tick randomizer, tick timers, tick activates. There's also Runechant template. So what do they do and how do they work? Well, they are all to do with the scoreboard system. So for instance, if we use set display sidebar, we can go ahead and set all these different scoreboards. So we've got timer, world age, timer tick, season, mob age, half tick, alive for, all my different timers that I like to use, and then RNG. So if we set RNG variable, for instance, we can see RNG loader and RNG. And if we set something like the timers, we can see that they're already counting. What else can we do? Tick. Sure, why not? So it's counting up and up and up. And they're just the ground workings that I can now build all of the command features off of. So the timers are very straightforward. They're just counting systems using the scoreboard. So every tick they add 1, and then once they reach a certain threshold, so 10 minutes would be 20 ticks in a second. So this was a bad one to pick. Let's go with something similar, 3 seconds. So 3 seconds is going to count to 60. Once it gets to 60, it resets. Okay, so that is 3 seconds. Every second is equivalent to 20 ticks, and therefore it's adding 1 to the scoreboard every tick. Then we also have some of the larger things like seasons. So this counts to 7 days, if you will. 7 Minecraft days, I should say. So what is that? 20 minutes a day, right? So 20 times 7 is 140 minutes, or just slightly over 2 hours. So once it gets to whatever that is equivalent in ticks, it will reset. And this will allow me to obviously dictate seasons in the game. I can now dictate the world age users for difficulty, same with mob age. There is a whole bunch of different systems that I can now build off of these super easy. And one of the big things with the previous iteration of the project was I started all these as commands, as command blocks running, and then to try and convert them all and catch them all, most importantly as a data pack, was really tedious because I spread them out. I was really bad in positioning, in keeping systems that were sort of interconnected together. And yeah, a lot of things fell through the cracks for the data pack. So again, I really just want to really express that it is not in a really playable state. Some features work, sure, but a lot of features don't, and I'm not happy with it. Okay, that aside, why don't we just go over the actual data pack? In the past, I've been trying to run 2 different series, if you will. One focusing on project updates, and then the other a sort of pseudo tutorial series, and I think I can do them both a lot better if I just obviously connect them. So we will go over not only the features I come up with for the project, but also how I've brought them about. So for starters, we might as well go into the Minecraft folder and look at some of the functions we've set up. So we've got tick randomizer, so it's scoreboard, add, blah, 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 then does a whole bunch of calculations. To be completely honest, I did not come up with this. I don't even have a full understanding of what it does. I know it uses a bunch of different mathematical equations, starting with whatever time the game time is set to. So it's constantly picking a random number and then updating it through math and converting it to a number between 1 and 1000. So this allows me to obviously have random RNG in the game that then I can use to call upon other different commands. So this one is really important. I previously used dropper hopper systems to randomly pick between a stone block and a stone sword, since they have different outputs in terms of redstone. It is so much better to just be able to run this system in the background. Then we've also got the timer systems. So these are the half tick, 3 seconds. I've got them arranged from lowest to highest, different numerical values that then I can use to run different systems. So for instance, the mob abilities I used to come up with would run off of the 12-second timer. Different drop crafting would run off of the 3 and 5 second timers. Essentially, they're everything I am used to working with, and therefore I'm now able to build off of in a much simpler way. Then we also have stuff like seasons, world age, and this one, scoreboard add at E, Runechant mobs. So this is using the new tags I've come up with, grouping all of the entity mobs together, because we also have other entities like area effect potions, arrows, tridents, etc. that we don't want to update with time and mob age, because what I can do now is I can set a difficulty where if a mob has existed for X amount of time, it's going to increase in its strength, in its attributes. So if we take a look at that scoreboard, we should see a whole bunch of UUIDs. So mob age, right? So it's not going to list them all. I believe it can only list 16 at a time, but it is adding to probably 300 some entities, and you see they've all been live for whatever this is, divided by 20, that's the amount of seconds. So again, I can look for a set range for this. So for instance, if it gets to over 10,000, I could have the mobs double in movement speed or double in attack damage, and create a lot more dynamic things through that, which I previously couldn't or wouldn't be able to, because if you tried to run this in a command block, it would be absolutely horrendous because of the way it is trying to detect and run off of every mob in the game. Whereas right now, it is causing no tick lag at all. Okay, so this is updating probably 300 times every tick, because that's probably how many entities are loaded at the moment, and there is really no tick lag. So that's a wonderful use of data packs. But again, data packs and command blocks, there are benefits to either, but I will be working with just data packs going forward, and hopefully I can really come up with something special. The other wondrous thing that I can do now, we get rid of the scoreboard, I can make use of models. And models, what are they exactly? Well, if you're not sure what they are, they're essentially how people show off special items without, adding a mod or anything like that. So I believe if we do custom model data and set this to a value I have preset, so 19971, look at that. We get a disk fragment with a new sprite. Yes, so I can put some artistry into the game rather than just coming up with cool creations. I can actually make things that actually look a bit better. I can create my own particles. I can create my own items or reskins of items, if you will. And I think altogether this project's going to turn out a lot better than previously. Right, so we've got this little world fragment. So if you know what that is, cool. If you don't, oh well, I'll explain. These are sort of the resources or the currency system of my previous map, and all I was doing previously was just adding different lore tags to a disk fragment. So now I've gone ahead and recolored them, and that way you can now see exactly what currencies you have. So if you have a brown one, if you have a purple one, if you have a green, red, or blue. Okay, so there's 5 different ones for me to work with. And I can do this for everything. I can do this for weapons with the enchant system, or any of the unique wands I came up with. I can make this whole project, hopefully, significantly better. And I hope that is enough to make it worth the wait. And lastly, to wrap up our little introductory episode, I've gone ahead and started working on the roadmap. So it is baseline, and it will have lots of stuff added to it in the future. But to start off, in red, we've got all the features I want to get done, and then I will be comfortable leasing the project out for everyone to start playtesting. So we've got seasons, difficulty, random events, mob abilities, and armor attributes. All of which, again, I do have the foundational workings for in the previous version of the project, so hopefully they don't end up taking too long. Then after that, in yellow, we have everything we need to add in for this project to be done to the same degree as the previous project. So melee combat, ranged combat, magic combat, custom enchants, bosses, passive abilities, rune traps, ore processing, and cauldron brewing. Then in green will be anything I want to then add to polish up the map, or anything you guys suggest. So if there is anything you want me to try and create, or you think would be cool to add to this style of data pack, let me know and I will give it a go. But I have gone ahead and added the dungeon system here. So I'm not too sure if I want to use the same dungeon system I came up with in the previous version of the project, or if I want to start from scratch, or if I simply want to use the structure portion of data packs to do that job. So we'll see. This might get axed, it might be the same, or it might be completely different. Any of those 3 outcomes. Speaking of outcomes, there you go. You can see in the right, I've gone ahead and fixed the RNG variable. It's now actually working. So every tick, it is picking a random number between 1 and 1,000. I gotta love math. In all honesty, I don't, but this is a pretty cool system, and it is the foundational workings for a lot of the things I do, because I love RNG. Really helps out, and there's not a huge lot of ways to do it. Well, you can do it with UUIDs, but that seems a bit complicated. I think this was just lucky of me to come upon. Again, I'm sorry, but I honestly, I don't know where it is. It was just I think it was a Quora? Quora. Never actually said it out loud. Yeah, it was just someone asking for how to, and this is the how to. But I've tried Googling and I can't find it again. If you can find it, that'd be awesome too. Well, this is mixing some walls. But yeah, so I think we'll leave it there. I will just apologize one more time. Trust me, I feel really bad about it. I don't like promising something and then going back on it. But yeah, it wasn't good. Trust me, it wasn't good. This is going to be far better. It's going to be cool. It's going to have my own items and artwork. Hope you enjoy. See ya.